Yes, sir. Is it visible now? Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So welcome everybody, welcome participants. This is Dr. Shailendra Dube. Today I'm taking up topic on supply chain management, and the idea of taking up this topic was that that was a twin pronged. That is the number one, in a very in a very simple manner, just to illustrate the classic case of supply chain that is called Mumbai Dabbawala, for the benefit of all the participants. I love it. It's a tribute from my side to the Mumbai Dabbawalas, those who brought glory to this country by their efficacy and efficiency of supply chain. Number one. And second thing, that is called global COVID scenario. That is which I'm pretty interested to today discuss, and how this supply chain disruption has come up, what kind of industry reports have come, and what they mean by this, how they imply the supply chain that's the disruptions, and how it has impacted our industry, Indian industry, and on the at the same time how China, basically Wuhan, was a key role player in this case. So innovations, new supply model, and then finally I'll try to make my presentation with the second case that is called ELGI global air compressor. How they cope up with this kind of supply chain disruptions. So this is my agenda for the presentation today. I hope I will go with this, and finally then the floor will be open for the uh, uh, question answer sessions. So allow me to have Mumbai Dabbawala. This is what I always start with my students also, that the importance of supply chain, and especially the Mumbai Dabbawala. We all came to know about Mumbai Dabbawala only when Prince Charles came to the country in 80s, and then they became a immediately came into the limelight. And the idea was that how the Dabbawalas, those who are so not very much literate, and at the same time doing their tasks or delivering tiffins to their customers without any disruptions. Contrary to this, there's company like Motorola, which talked about initiating Six Sigma and all kind of things, and at the same time using high cost. So Dabbawalas in that way became an Indian role model, and it became a immediately uh, cause of attraction. So many Harvard and others cases were written on the Dabbawalas. So I feel proud when I take this case of Dabbawala to illustrate the supply chain, especially in this country, which we see since the Dabbawalas have come into existence. So what is Dabbawala? It's basically a delivery boy, and we all witness it's in Mumbai. Those who are from Mumbai, they witness that they say these Dabbawalas on day-to-day basis. But those who are not in Mumbai, for them, I wish to illustrate further that they are the one delivery boys, those who are engaged into delivering this hot cooked meals, that is from home to the place of work, or that is office. It is not possible for everybody to stay in a high cost zone that is called uh, you can say central business development CBD zones, whereas they come from at least 3 to 4 hours of journey far away from the hub of the offices. So in that case, Dabbawalas are doing a human service. They are providing service to these people, those who are going to survey to do the job in different parts of the Mumbai. So these are basically, there are 6,500 workers. The data may be a bit it's a bit old, but I can still say this. It conveys the meaning or my purpose of conveying the Dabbawala. So which normally delivers 2,000 meals a day. The data initially in 2010, probably it was 1.5 lakhs, or it may be during the peak time in 1970s for the 2 lakhs, when the textile industry was very much in boom. So we have witnessed, but more or less the figure is basically 1 to 1.5, or this is the lunch box delivered by the workers to the tune of 5,000 to 6,000 workers. Now East Tiffin is basically changes four hands. What does it mean? It means at least two persons, while 2 to 3 persons while going from place of pickup to the delivery site, and then once during the return side again 2 to 3 persons. So in one way it changes the four hands. and the average distance traveled by a tiffin is 60 to 70 kilometers in a single day. And then cost, if we say, then it's in terms of dollars or whatever, that is here we say, for getting the supply service, that is $6, so it's not more than during that time, but considering today's, it's like 600 or 800 rupees per month. The beauty of this dabba wala is that they are not very much educated. They, you can say, they are semi-literate or illiterate, and to some extent they are eighth pass grade. So with their having such a average background, and they come from a particular location in Mumbai, so that is very important. They are not from global India. They are not from pan India. Rather, they confine to a place in Mumbai, and then they are serving. For the sake of, I'm just showing how this Mumbai geographic location helps this dabba wala. If you see this train, that's called train lines, so you will find that it is again, it stays from north to south side, and they are converging to the church gate and all. So in this way, you can say it's pretty helpful that we can see the trains which are converging to the main center, Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus or church gate, and all along these you can see the stations are known as basically east side and west side, maybe Bandra east side, Mandra west, maybe Mahim east, Mahim west. In this way, they are connected to each other. So that makes the location very important in terms of Mumbai double law. Remember one thing, this it makes its Mumbai unique, geographically unique. Whereas it can, many people tried to replicate the same model in elsewhere, but they were failed because, so for example, take in case of Delhi, it was not possible. Though Delhi is already having a ring road, ring train, but the fact is that offices are so dispersed, so it's not cost viable. Rather, it's a pretty high cost to deliver these kind of services. So in one way, Mumbai makes a unique geographic region, and at the same time attributed with the railway network. So that's a very important for Mumbai dabba wala, and that's why they thrived also in their delivery. Some of the facts, just sharing with you, that each dabba wala has a limited, they have to make some investment in terms of having a bicycle or a wooden cart. They have to have a uniform, and then they have got a they have to contribute to the organization also monthly. Whereas these dabba wallas are basically getting a monthly salary to the tune of 5,000 to 6,000. Now one will wonder what we will do with the 5,000 to 6,000 per month, where people are looking for higher salary. But the fact is that for the average skilled people or less skilled people, even that is sufficient, because they don't want something. They don't want something else. But today's generation, probably they may not be propelled to take this kind of task, and that's why these are questionable also. I will discuss later on. But here in this case, if you see the difference and the investments in terms of how much these are generating revenue. So we can see with respect to defense 2 lakhs, how much we are going to get in terms of rupees or dollars. Suppose one dabba costs 600 rupees on an average. With the beauty of this dabba wala is, if it is not delivering on a single day or the day, so what will happen? It won't be charged. So interesting thing is how you won't find anywhere such kind of facility where you're not being charged, because normally it is on a monthly basis. So here dabba wallas are in a one way giving benefits to the customers also on a very low cost model, and which is pretty feasible also, workable also in that case. So when I say it's a pretty low cost, why? Just see on the one side you got a UPS, on the other side UPS is a service provider, on the other side a dabba wala, and then the way they are delivering with respect to UPS, and that's why I say it's a pretty cost effective model in terms of revenue. We all see these dabba wallas, those who are carrying these tiffins or crates on their heads, or wearing a proper dress or following the dress code, is normally visible on railways, and people respect them also, because this is what they are doing a service to the people, to the customer, to the nation. There is a one steel. This is normally a dabba or tiffin, what we call, and this is a steel. This is what customer supposed to give to the dabba wala, so that he can supply the food to the office. Now this organization, Dabbawala has a unique organization structure, Nutan Industrial Trust, you can say, where on the top you've got executive member committees, and then it is headed by 20 to 25 group leaders, and on below there's a each Dabbawala is having carrying a 30 defense as per the structure. So what is important here? There's a pyramidal structure where the Dabbawala one route, they are following the same route, and they at the same time there are other people, those who are helping them in sorting. So what is more important, there's a hierarchy visible. At the same time, there's an incentive structure. Now, what is incentive structure? I should say this is called social security. Dabbawalas are always held by the organization, so that during contingency they can get money. They can, during marriage or during any emergency, they can get financial support from this organization to which they are the part. And that's why imagine where attrition rate is very high in case of the organizations. What today organizations are facing is a pretty high attrition rate, but here you will find very less or not at all. It is all because of the social structure, social security is being provided, and that's why they are very comfortable with their own domain, in their own domain. They've got a weekly off, they've got a strict dress code, they believe in a Gandhian philosophy, and then they earn for the work they do for 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours in the morning, and again in the evening while returning back. So for the limited time, whatever they are delivering, they seem to be pretty well off with that kind of payments. So this is the beauty of the Dabbawalas. Whereas what we find today, most of the people are looking for more and more revenue, or more and more salary, and that's why that becomes a cause of concern for the attrition also. The people are leaving jobs also. But here it is not very much visible. When I say Dabbawala's achievement, yes, this is what the beauty is, that it is known as a Six Sigma. I always tell students, why Six Sigma to Dabbawala? Why? The reason being that there is a very, you can say, minuscule proportion in terms of any you can say loss of the tiffin or any mishap. So what does it mean? It means out of the when we say Six Sigma, it's a 3.4 million per million opportunity, 3.4 parts per million of opportunities. So what does it mean? It means the defects, or that is called, in terms of Dabbawala, it is called not reaching to the destination or somewhere lost or somewhere. It's really it's even more than that, I should say, Six Sigma, and that's why they are recognized. They are recognized by all top rating agencies, including they are to the Guinness Book of World Records, and many audio and you can say case studies have been written by Harvard, MIT, or Ivy League and all, Ivy, and Business London Business School. So what does it mean? It means that they become a role model for others to emulate. They are those who are very much sought by the management organization, management business schools, so that they can understand the supply chain model. And to be very honest, Prince Charles is the brand ambassador for Dabbawala, for in this case, and this is and they recognize him as a brand ambassador also, their own brand of Prince Charles. Now, when I say supply chain, let's see that how this model functions. This is, since workers are going all the day, if there's no natural calamity, I should say. So in this way, they are available all 52 days a week, 52 weeks a year. They are working. They are supplying the food tiffins. They have got a very clear network design in which all the stations are clearly marked, given the number to them, and then from where these routes, the dabbas are basically transported from one place to other place. There's a clear-cut transportation by using, you can say, your bicycles or handcarts or other things, and then local transport, which is amply available in Mumbai. So that also facilitates Dabbawala. It's a pretty low cost in terms of buying ticket, monthly tickets, and then delivering the service. Even government also honors the dabbawalas by providing services to them. Uh, then they have got an inventory in terms of pool resources, hand carts, bicycles. These dabbawalas are basically, uh, very simple, and they are very dedicated also in terms of doing their job, or they show the high level of commitment or dedication. That is a very important thing, which is not pretty visible in terms of nowadays in organizations. But here, irrespective of, they are committed to this kind of work. So the question is how they do it. Supply chain network, again, is a public transportation which are using, so it's a very low cost, or rather I should say, it is a Mumbai local train network is there, and then bicycles, which is cheaper than any auto or any other mobile, any other mode. Dabbawala is basically using a Gandhi cab, that is their dress code, which implies identification of their identification during the crowded platforms. They are showing high efficiency. You can say high efficiency, at the same time not depending on any modern technology. Remember, we are not we are today cannot live without a technology, but it doesn't mean that they are not tech savvy. They are nowadays, dabbawalas are using their own mobiles, and these mobiles are being helping them in terms of getting orders. Suppose sometimes these people are also helping in terms of providing gifts or other things to other designated person on the route. So they are using technology, but obviously dabbawala, their work doesn't affect or not affect because of these technologies. And then here there is a group of 30 dabbawala serving an area, and then people there, in case of any contingency, if somebody becomes sick, then there's others also, those who can act, or they can go give a helping hand to these dabbawalas. So there is a provision for you can say internship, where the young people, again from locally referred regions, are allowed to join them. So it's a pretty highly, you can say, localized play, and it requires lots of recommendations. So it's not possible for others to join the dabbawala group. Reason being very simple: they are not familiar with the culture. They belong to a particular region. They are celebrating their festivals on a on same day, and they have a limited festivals which they are observing. So they are well versed with the topography of the Mumbai, which normally people are not aware today. So in that case, they are well versed with the Mumbai's places, and they are the one those who do this job very seriously. What makes supply chain interesting in case of dabbawala is the flow logic here, and this is what is important for we people as a management, where we look for that is how this functions. So what they have done, that is called, they have already uh, assigned codes to the dabbawalas at the starting point, and the dabbawala at the receiving point. And in between, they have all designated the numbers through numbers. They have designated the different railway stations. So what is interesting here, they have divided the entire Mumbai into different zones, starting from one to you can say different zones, where they are grouping each zone. And if we talk about the hub and spoke model, in that case there are 4 hubs created, and where the culmination of the dabbas, they come for, they take place, and then the resorting takes place, and then finally they are dispatched to the different locations where people are dabbawalas are carrying to their destinations. So let us start with the point of aggregation, where ABCTs are these are the places, and the collections are done from the dabbawala. Then they are taken to the nearest railway station, and these railway stations are given numbers also. And then what happens, they are again taken for sorting. And here the senior persons, they are indulged into the sorting. Important thing is, these dabbawala, there's a labor, respect for labor, or division of labor, I should say. Nowhere you will find there's a that there is so much of respect where the younger ones are doing the manual work, whereas the senior persons, those who are having more than 20-30 years of work ex, or you can say those who are above 40 or 50, they are on the railway stations for halting and sorting and then transferring these dabbas. So in a one way, there is a dignity of labor, I should say like this. In this way, it helps cohesion among the workers in the organization, and there is no heartburns or no disputes because of this beautiful arrangement in case of the Bawala. Now let's move to this, the code which makes it unique. Now what kind of code we are talking about? Each dabbawala, each dabba is having a known by a code, unique code, and it clearly marks. Now if I say this dabbawala is the code which they are using is, one is a place of origin, and at the same time the person, and it is the place of the that is called destination. Then you got a person who is picking up from the place of origin, and the person who is delivering to the place of destination, and that destination should be also coded, which floor, which building, or which area. So let us take the example of this VLP3E 9E12. So what does it mean? VLP means Ville Parle, that is called the place of origin. It is on the top, and here in this case 3 is the destination code, for which that's why we just said that is each railway station is given a code and it is divided into. So here 3 is a code for Nariman Point. Now E is a code for Dabbawala at the residential station, from where he is picking up the tiffin. So it is a clearly. Now why it is done? The beauty is one can identify the person if he has done wrong also. So that's the one thing. And at the same time, the person who has delivered to the customer, he should be also identified. So in this case 9E12, here we give the destination for this, that is called where the code of our destination station Nariman Point, destination zone is 9, and here name of building normally we there's a building code, and the floor, or normally they were the high rising buildings, so they are the floors mentioned. So 9E12 is the destination. So very clearly here we want to identify the person who has picked up the dabba and the person who has delivered the dabba. So in this way these dabbas are delivered to the destination, and that makes the entire dabbawala system unique. This is an innovative model. It's an innovative model where we have this coding system. So these people easily identify. They have got a color codes also, depending upon the zones or regions, maybe green, maybe black, maybe red, maybe others. So they are clearly coated with the colors also, so they can easily identify, and that helps in sorting the dabbas also. Now I should give you the idea about the timeline. Timeline means how the journey starts, how the different journey starts. Normally the customer sets out at early time because he has to move through the trains, local trains, to reach the office. But the dabbas that comes later. Now why people prefer dabba? Why people eat? It is always questioned why people should go for their own food. Reason being that you cannot have a food outside food daily. It may create problems, and normally people love to have their own cooked food, and that's why they want to have the dabba to their office or place of work. So this dabba is basically the journey starts again at the 8 a.m. when the dabbas are collected from different places, and then it reaches to the station, nearest station, where the sorting takes place. And then these are reworked. These are put into a common crate where the dabbawalas are basically taking it to the through railway to the destination point, and then from there rearrangement of a tiffin or taking place at the railway station, and then the destination point dabbawala is picking up to its destination. Now this is the one way we can say that is called, it is all time bound. They are always time bound. They cannot afford to delay because there is a chain, and each if there is a delay in one activity, so ultimately it will lead to the delay in other activities. Since train timings are fixed, so they have to follow the strict regimen of reaching to the railway stations at any case. They cannot afford to miss the train also, and that's why they are strictly time bound in that way. In some cases, normally the dabba reaches to the office at 12:30 to 1, which is the normal time. Whereas in case of the high density regions, again, this may be taking more, but then there are more dabba walas to deliver the dabbas. So in this case, I should say the arrival time of dabbas to the customer is between 12:30 to 1 p.m. The same way the reverse logistics takes place. It means that is the way dabba reaches from its place of work to the home to the home from where it has started its journey. Now this is where the collection of dabba takes place. Resorting takes place at the nearest railway station, again at the destination point, and then they are brought back to the own that destination, or you can say place of first collection of these dabbas in the nearest station at the emerging point. So in a one way, the final dabba reaches to its place, that is called around 3:30 to 4. The reason being, this is where the beauty of this entire arrangement, entire supply chain is, no one knows in between who is handling the dabba. But the beauty is the dabbas reaching to the destination and returning back to its place of origin. Now this is something interesting. Normally people know each other, but here in this case nobody knows each other except we identify two people, those who are at the place of pickup and at the place of drop, and nobody else. And it changes more than four hands or six hands in between, depending upon the route or the sorting where it is taking place. So one can understand, suppose for the sake of illustration, if I say it's a 1 lakh dabbas to be delivered, and each dabba is passing through 4 hands, so it's like a 4 lakh you can say operation. Now 4 lakh multiplied by, suppose it's 30 days, so it's like again 130 lakhs, 120 lakhs. Now see, and if you don't find any defect, so imagine what kind of you can say you are talking about. It is beyond Six Sigma. So that is what I mean, that how these people are giving a flawless execution to the supply chain, and that's why we always consider dabbawala as a classic supply chain model for the business students or business people. There's a slight SWOT analysis. The idea is that these are when we talk about the strengths, they were a low attrition rate because of a high customer satisfaction, low operation cost, and on top of it, it's a pretty innovative one. Weaknesses, you can say the high dependency on local trains. They cannot afford to lose or miss the train also. And at the same time, when we say these dabbawalas are having less education, so there's need for more and more education for them. Opportunities that they got a wide range of publicity because of their own brand ambassadors, and they are catering to the people. And the threat is that new emergence of the fast food joints, fast food supplier. But when we ask these dabbawalas, they always say they don't find any threat, neither technology threat nor people new business models. Reason being, their customers are dedicated to their services, and they don't want to bring change also because of the technology invasion. They are pretty contented with their own approach, and that's why they still thrive when other companies are facing lots of problems or lots of. This is a classic service model in our country, and which is being taken as a case study for all of us. If I see this put into the perspective of Michael Porter's 5 forces model, so they don't find any threat, neither from the fast food joints, not for this, because these whatever these are on the one hand, they may be they may be good, but they may be palatable also, but at the same time they may be costly also. So average of people cannot afford to go for such kind of fast food joints or other things. At the same time, they are on a very low cost model, and there is no question of substitute or no question of entrants. Even people tried to enter into this, but they were not able to replicate, and that's why this is the sole model in this country which probably working, still thriving since its inception in early 1990s, early 90s, 1900. So what I mean to say that we look this dabbawala as a great model in supply chain, and the way this functions and the way this organization thrives, the way they people are dedicated, it's a role model for others to emulate, because the organizational structure, the way it functions, there's a high flexibility also. There's a lots of entrepreneur opportunities also for dabawalas, so that they can start a new line also, new chain also, and in this way it goes more and more. And it's a pretty effective low cost model. And on top of it, their motto is serving food is serving to God, and that's why they are pretty committed to their task of dabawala. You know, this this task of serving food to the customers, and they are very much very much motivated towards this, doing this. So I can say dabbawalas are in a one way a very classic supply chain model for us, especially for the students. Now, now I wish to come back to the global uh, pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, and its ramification on supply chain. Why? Why? Because we all have witnessed. It's December 2020, and early signs of pandemic emerged in uh, November 2019 or December 2020. Uh, uh, November 2019, and then it is even India was not spared. India was also part of this, and we are witnessing day to day. The reason being this global pandemic. What happened? Why this created lots of fuss? Uh, uh, let me explain like this. Uh, People had never thought that entire world will be engulfed because of this COVID pandemic. This was an unimaginable scenario, though there were previously, there are many more like this. SARS were there was a financial crisis was there, global meltdown of financial crisis 2008 2009 also, many more were like this. But this kind of scenario is a unique in a way that people not only lost lives, also they are still gripping under the COVID, and early signs of coming out of this situation is still tough. Still people are exploring through vaccines. So how this has impacted supply chain model, how it has impacted industry, how COVID, because of the Wuhan, from where it originated, it is presumed it has impacted the industry. So that's why let's go back to this scenario. So first of all, we all know what is supply chain disruption. Why is supply chain disruption? Because of this you can say COVID pandemic. So number one, here according to a survey conducted to March 2020, close to 75% of organizations reported supply disruption. What's worse is that almost 44% of businesses lacked a strategy to deal with this kind of disruption. This is a report given by the Infosys BPM. Now, it means organizations were affected. They faced their supply disruptions, uh, and that was a big problem for them. If I mention a Deloitte report, COVID-19, it was like a black swan of 2020. Means talking about taking the world by the whole surprise. World was not even mentally prepared to take this kind of cope this kind of scenario, and that's why entire world was affected because of this kind of sudden emergence of the pandemic. Uh, as per the IBM report, 93% organizations have faced demand volatility. It means there was a volatile demand. It was not a stable one, and that's why it had impacted the industries also. Essential report focuses on that says 94% of future 1,000 companies are seeing supply chain disruption. That's a very high. It means majority of the organizations face this kind of disruptions in the supply chain. 75% companies have had negative or strongly negative impact on their businesses. It means they were not able to deliver what they were supposed to. They were not able to woo the customers, take care of the customers, or you can say go as per the production or demand, or receive the supply raw material, or provide the finished goods. So that was again a big problem for them. 55% of the companies plan to downgrade their growth outlook. It is all because of the pandemic that they were not able to, go as per their plan, and that's why they had to downgrade themselves. That was all because of. Now I've shown the Wuhan. Wuhan was basically the reason being Wuhan was not only the origin place. Wuhan was basically Chinese, most industrialized region, where and unfortunately from here the COVID emerged. So what happened? There were two interesting scenarios took place, because of which entire supply chain disruption took place. And number one, uh, when we say Wuhan, it is basically how it has impacted the global supply chain. Uh, Wuhan is basically a traditional base for manufacturing, and emerged as a modern industrial change. And here in this case, lots of major factories which include high technology like optoelectronic technology, pharmaceuticals, biology, engineering, environmental production, and modern manufacturing, automotive, steel, and iron manufacturing. These are based at Wuhan. On top of it, over 200 of the 500 Fortune 500 firms have a direct presence in Wuhan. That is very interesting. See, uh, most of the Fortune 500 companies, majority of them are having their direct, presence in Wuhan, and that also makes it as an important hub of manufacturing. And if I quote the Dun and Bradstreet study, 163 of the Fortune 1000 have tier 1 suppliers in the impacted area, and 938 have one or more tier 2 suppliers. No, this is something interesting to understand. Why tier 1 and tier 2? When I say tier 1, it means direct recipient. That is called, they are getting direct impacted because of they are getting a direct supply from one. Whereas in case of tier 2, 938 have the tier 2. It means the tier 2 is one which is providing supply to the tier 1, and then tier 1 is providing to the, you can say, the original manufacturer. So in this case, there's a high level of dependency, and that shows the high level of dependency on Wuhan based industrial region. And that's why there was a global supply chain disruption also, which is believed. How China impacted global supply chain? Again, we have to understand that it's called supply side risk, which I just mentioned, because of the tier 1 and tier 2. And most of the companies in the world, they were to some extent aware about the tier 1, but not beyond that. Even if they are not getting material directly from tier 2. But what happens, that since tier 2 suppliers are disrupted, or they are affected because of the lockdown or because of the situation in Wuhan, so even tier 1 was affected. And because of that, so these companies based in different parts of the world were not able to identify the supply side scenario, and that's why it was a big risk for them. Uh, here, what we wanted to tell, that is called advanced digital solutions are required to map network beyond tier 1, which normally companies hadn't thought of it, because of this kind of nervous scenario emerged. And second thing, the domino effect of plant closures, because of the extended lockdown and many other scenarios, government's policies all over the world, companies were locked down, and then what happened? They faced the supply shortages across the extended supply network, which led to the disruption of the supply chain. So because of the one closure of the plant, that led to the domino effect, that is called other closures of the other plants as well, because of the not getting the supply. And it was very visible. The second most important aspect is of Wuhan is that is called, it is also one of the largest inland port. It has got the requisite infrastructures. It is a transportation hub, and on top of it, many important cities, many like Beijing, Shanghai, Chengdu, Guangzhou, and Xi'an, all are just at a distance of just not more than 1,200 kilometers from Wuhan. So it means local hub. In fact, Wuhan also acts as a domestic hub for the transportation, and in this case, in this case, what happened? This Wuhan highly impacted. Wuhan it is all because of the Wuhan that others were highly impacted. The other factor which attributed to this, that was the China's New Year, which we call Lunar New Year, which normally falls in January and ends in February first week. So what happened? This phase, most of the factories are already shut down for 2 to 4 weeks. and people are moving out of the places for the such during such festival season in China. That's called more than 385 million people. Those who travel, those who want to go back to their homes and return back. So in a one way where there was a COVID situation already in China, people were already on the merrymaking. That is called, they were on the verge of uh, you know uh, uh, travel, and that's why factories were shut down. In fact, it's a Chinese policy. They shut down all their factories for 2 weeks and then they reopen. So in this case, so that people can go back safely and they can return back to join their work. Now because of the outbreak uh, here in Wuhan, government allowed extended shutdown of factories, and this continued. So this is which was never anticipated, and that was the basic cause of concern. Factories already shut down, and later on, because of the Wuhan, there was extended shutdown, and because of which supplies and everything was quite affected or disrupted. Uh, by end of February, only 70% of the large industrial enterprises had started working. Small and medium enterprise hit hard, with only 43% resuming operations. And catering, retail, travel industry most impacted due to declining sales and high fixed cost. That shows the scenario was very crippling. That was a not very healthy scenario, and that led to that is called you can see the ripple effect from one place to other place, and others industries also getting affected because of the effect on a Wuhan region, uh, and that's why that was very visible also. Now, if I say how impact of Indian industry, so some of the industry which I mentioned, electric vehicle industry. So here in this case, they were highly dependent on China for import of cells, batteries, electronic components, sensors. So these electric vehicles, they were basically importing these components from China. And what happened, because of since they were not getting, because of the COVID pandemic, disrupted the local supply chains and manufacturing. Those importing in CKD, complete knockdown mode, will be also more challenges. So in a one way, industries, they had lots of problems, challenges because of the COVID. Similarly, one example which I mentioned here, that's for solar energy projects. Government of India is very ambitious on solar energy projects, non-conventional energy, promotion of non-conventional energy. But remember that what this depends on the photovoltaic cells, and basically these are all imported from China, and India is not having any manufacturing base in India. And now after the COVID pandemic, and now after the Wuhan scenario, what happened now? Indian companies are looking for substitute material, or they want to do more research so that they can produce locally, they can manufacture locally, okay, or they can look for some alternate source of procurement. So this is something which has compelled our companies to look for alternate source, or they can look for a substitute metal to the photovoltaic cells. So similarly, paint industry, similarly other industries, automobile industries, they had also experienced the same kind of problems in terms of when the COVID was visible. Now, what were the reasons and challenges for supply chain? Now, let's discuss also what were the reasons. When I say reasons, it means there was no clarity, absence of disruption-related clauses. Frankly speaking, neither buyer nor seller had any anticipation of this kind of scenario, and that's why they never introduced such clauses during the negotiation, and that's why in absence of such clause, it created lots of problem also to both sides. Similarly, not proper supply chain mapping done due to resource intensive and time consuming. It is advisable that companies should go for the resource that's called supply chain mapping. But what does it mean? In this case, if I say the supply chain mapping means a company which is procuring from tier 1 should also know that tier 2, if tier 1 is also getting from tier 2 source. So in this case, they should know, they should have the proper information whether it is going to come from tier 2 to tier 1 or not. In this case there was lack of information, no proper mapping done, and so because it was costly affair, it's a time consuming, and that's why companies ignored, they never bothered about it. And now after the COVID, they realize this importance, that they cannot be dependent on one aspect, and that's why that was a very challenging or very risky. third is some other reasons are imbalance in procurement, logistics, supply chain, finance, or overlapping business functions, which was also the reason buyers and sellers lack clarity. Again, because of buyers not knowing how much to get or from where to get and who will supply, and sellers again. So the sellers not able to deliver or not able to honor the commitment. So there was lots of problem, or you can say uncertainties during this COVID scenario. Cost versus risk conundrum. What does it mean? Means businesses may face inevitable delays, inefficiency, and demand reduction. Many companies were in doldrums whether to how to honor the commitment of its stakeholders or the customers, where the supplies are still in doldrum. So that was the big problem. They don't want to lose their valued customer. Somehow they had to. So sometimes they had to get through air freight. Now this is something where they have to incur extra cost also. So just to honor the commitment, but it is not viable always to do this kind of thing. Challenges for consumer behavior. The consumers, or you can say routes to the market. Some other routes are closed or not open, or you can say value chain transformation from one end to the other end. You talk about the financial and operational challenges were there. Lockdown led to the shortage of the workers, or close down of the factories, or truncated capacity, or you can say you have to go for production with a half capacity utilization, not full capacity utilization, and many more things. There was a mostly more costly supply chain, and on top of it, high dependence on workforce, because as per the government policy, workers were leaving. They were very afraid of the COVID. They want to go back to their homes, and that's led to many more problems to the organizations. So some of the reasons which uh, which uh, which were visible, which led to the supply chain disruptions, are like this. Uh, how to cope the disruption? This is interesting. I just collected some of the data I wanted to, and that's very interesting. That during such scenario, even many companies had to change. They have to adopt innovative ways. For example, the electric vehicles, they had to focus on indigenation, start manufacturing components within country. EVs. Why I give the example of EV? Because electric vehicles, government is especially in our government, India, that honors the Paris climate change negotiations, and we want to cut down our emissions, and to a high level, and that's why we are focusing on all EVs or all other kind of modes which gives less pollution. So for them, the solution lies in indigenation. We have to go for our own rather than depending on the supply side. Then second is the automobile industry. It's a very interesting that even in USA, even Ford and Chrysler, they were manufacturing ventilators because that was the government order. They had to again do production. So they were not producing cars, or they were not producing. I think rather they were producing ventilators, because ventilators were very much in demand. It was not only in case of India, USA. At the same time, India also, many popular automobile companies like Maruti, or you can say Mahindra, they were also manufacturing the same ventilators, because government of India wanted them, and for its own saving its own people, and that's why these companies were using their resources to go for ventilator manufacturing. See, this is a new thing. This is the thing which was very much in demand as per the time, as per the situation warranted. So I wish to say that such companies are also delivering these things as per the requirement of the government. Now, fast food, paint industry. Remember, there was we just talked about, that's called demand fluctuation or demand volatility. So paint industry was the one which also found a new opportunity in terms of using its chemicals for the hand sanitizer, and Asian Paint. What I know, Asian Paint use its this as an opportunity to provide hand sanitizers and many more such kind of items, so that they can deliver deliver to the government, to the people, as per the requirement. Though the paint was very much in demand, not very much in demand during this COVID crisis. So they saw it as an opportunity to transform from their own model to some other products, and that's called innovative product. Fast food joint. Now, what is fast food? Fast food like a Domino's. Even they also came out with a new delivery protocol because nobody wants to lose their business considering every single conceivable opportunity. So what happened? They came out with a delivery protocol for its pizza delivery to the customers, and that's why they were thriving business. Remember, while automobile companies, other manufacturing companies were still struggling because of a lack of demand, services sector was still thriving uh, based on their own devised new protocols, because these protocols have to be in sync with the AIMS and ICAMR regulations, and that's why they were able to cater to the demands of the people. Similarly, if you see other examples like Amazon and others, they were also trying to follow the same, so that they can get business, they can still deliver some services to the people. So these are some of the innovations which came pretty handy, or rather these industries resorted to. Now, I'm mentioning a report of Deloitte report 2020, which mentioned, during this COVID scenario, there were three types of companies. Now, what these three types of companies which basically, during this COVID scenario thrived? Number one, category one, which basically better prepared to mitigate impact. Now, this category one company was basically to minimize the impact of the COVID by developing its own strategy, and their strategy was that they developed and implemented supply chain risk management. How? With this kind of supply chain risk management, they not only they multi-source key commodities or strategic components to reduce the reliance on one supplier, had inventory strategy to buffer stock. So it means now they look towards more and more suppliers for the key commodities, so that their dependence should be less and less. And so that was the one aspect to mitigate this kind of risk scenario. The second category companies were those who are better prepared to respond. Now, what is respond here? In this case, they build a strong relationship with the key suppliers, have visibility through extended supply network, chain network. Now, in this case, these were not only having a better relationship with the suppliers, at the same time they want to have visibility. That's it, they want to reach to the tier 1, tier 2 and beyond. They want to see from where their components are coming. Are they able to get it through the use of the technology? And in this way I should say that this was very important for us. So category 2 companies were very much dependent on this kind of new innovative visibilities. Next, the outcome of this was how they had agility through their production and distribution network, invested in supply chain planning. So the agility factor, which is very much visible in this case, was that helped them to go for new outcomes, new dedicated, you can say, network and invest in supply chain planning. Third category, that is known as these companies are basically, they were not prepared. They were ill prepared. Rather, they are not taken for granted. They think they were not prepared. That's why they were known. Simply, they were scrambling to manage the things, and that's why they were. It was just only because of that they are over reliant on the single geography. They hadn't worked out their planning or strategy. Rather, they were just focusing on only one aspect, and it is because of this they had neither the visibility in the extended network, nor agile production, no inventory, no strategy, no flexible logistics and network. And that's why I say that when I say the third category was basically which was caught napping, and today COVID has put us everybody on a very a different platform where you cannot take it for granted. You have to have your own planning strategy so that you can deliver your products, you can deliver your things. So in this case, these three categories of companies Now we realize how companies are better coping with the change scenario. Now, considering all these facts and figures, considering the new scenario, yes, considering this new scenario, there was a better now. Considering all these risk factors, what we should now we should look for a new supply chain model. Now, frankly speaking, why we should look for the new supply chain model? What was the problem with the ongoing that's supply chain model? Reason being that there was a less visibility, no tracking, lots of risk factor involved. So it was considered, rather most of the think tanks, they say we should focus on the digital supply network. Now, digital supply network means it is the core is a digital. It means it is the basic platform is a digital one where our dependence is on more and more IT integration, more and more technology integration, exploring the latest new technologies, high technologies, so that we can have the undisrupted supply chain. Now, how this can be possible? These can be possible through only when we go for this kind of digital supply network, where we have got a synchronized planning, we have got a connected customers are connected, okay, through all levels. We have got a factory, you can say future of the factory, when we talk about how we are manufacturing, how we got an intelligent usage intelligence. We talk about digital development, all those new technologies being developed, and you talk about dynamic fulfillment, that is through transportation and all. So what I mean to say that this is the report, this is the IBM report which talks about the digital supply network, but many other reports also talks about the emergence of the new supply chain model on the basis of new technologies. Now we should harness such technologies so that we can talk about the new supply chain model. So let us discuss first of all what are those technologies. Here we talk about advances in information and communication technologies. We talk about artificial AI. Today it's a talk of the town. AI, machine learning, and then you got the blockchain or cloud computing, 5G, robotics, 3D printing. The reason being that if we are using such technologies, so at least it is presumed that we'll be having wider visibility, through extended networks. Also, we will be having all information at our disposal, and there will be no risk factor, and you can have a contingency planning also. And that's why we talk about the new supply chain model. So inherent benefits of such kind of supply chain model will be improved end-to-end visibility through the supply chain network. Remember remember the problem crops up when we are not aware from where the supply chain coming, that is called supply is coming, or whether it is assured or not. Though we are getting from tier 1, but the fact is that if tier 2 which is supplying to tier 1 is not connected to us, then what will happen? So in that way how we will be assured of the supply during the contingency. And that's why most of the companies not had this kind of planning, so they hadn't any extended end-to-end visibility. And through this new supply chain model, now the companies can have. Second thing is support more supply chain agility and resilience. Now here, when we talk about agility, it means we must have a certain characteristics that is called to include this agility factor. That's called agility demand, or in supply, or in case of production or scheduling, or this inventory. You can have this kind of agility factor in your entire approach, agility and resilience. uh, Third factor is continuous intelligent planning. Organization transform from the perpetual reactive mode to a proactive mode. Now, uh, it's when we say reactive mode, it's like a knee jerk reaction. You come up, you get ready to face, or rather come up with a solution after you are into this. But if you are already having a long term perspective planning, then you can have a proactive mode. You are ready to take a contingency plannings in advance. And that is what I mean proactive mode, or when you are ready to face any kind of eventuality in future. So now I should say, after going through several literatures and all, I found that now companies are having this proactive mode. They are having the perspective planning, long term perspective planning. Though on the one hand they got a short-term measures to cope up the immediate one, at the same time they got a long-term perspective planning to face any eventuality in future. And that is what COVID has given every company, every 500 Fortune 500 or 1,000, all these kind of perspective planning, so that they should be ready to cope up with this kind of scenario. Now, with this kind of development, now I've taken a case study of ALGI air compression manufacturer. This is an Indian company. This is the Indian company which basically focusing on manufacturing of air compressors globally. And this is something, they are of different categories, different 10 horsepower, 15 horsepower, 12 horsepower, and they are utilized in different industries. So this ELGI, which is an India-based company, which is basically manufacturing air compressors, this is one which I have taken, how this company has brought changes in its strategy, how they have coped up with the supply chain disruptions, what kind of new initiatives they have taken, how to cut down the price, or how to safeguard the interests of their own workforce. This is what we are going to consider in this case study. So let us get with a new case study that is called ELGI, a global air compressor with supply chain challenges. This India-based ELGI offers more than 400 products across to about 100 countries. So it means this company is a global in nature, global operations. It is having a global operations, and it is manufacturing, and it is offering 400 products. This compressed air basically required by a range of industries, from small auto body shops to complex pharmaceuticals manufacturing. This is where its products are absorbed. Its supply chain is fairly complex. They rely on more than 350 suppliers from across 15 countries for more than 13,000 components. Now you can see the complexity in terms of, on the one hand, you got the suppliers, which ranging around 350, or you can say which are coming from 15 countries, including China. And then they are manufacturing with these suppliers. They have more than 13,000 components. And that is pretty complicated scenario in this case. So company's strategy should be what? What should be the company's strategy? So I have jotted down some of the points. That was to strike a balance between maintaining sufficient inventory of finished goods in key markets to serve customers, while minimizing the raw material and work in process, WIP inventory, to maintain working capital, to maintain working capital. Or you can say the basic objective was to supply finished goods in their own important markets, key markets, finished goods. That was the basic strategy. There shouldn't be any problem in this case. That is called insufficient inventory should not be there. They have to maintain this, and that was their strategy also. And at the same time, to minimize the inventory costs, they wanted to bring down the work in process inventory, so that will have less impact on their capital. ELGI heavily dependent on China for critical components like coolers and motors for its air compressors. So we can say that ELGI was also dependent on China during the COVID time. But the interesting part, which all of us should understand, and this shows a common sense also. As a manager, one can have a common sense. That's called thinking manager. What they did, they understood that Chinese New Year scenario coming in early December 2019, just the 1 year back, 1 year earlier. They knew that the Chinese are going to have this New Year, and which going to in this January, and factories will be closed. So what they did, interestingly, they had their increased inventory from China during that time itself, when other things were pretty normal that time. So what happened? They had piled up its inventory from China. This strategic purchase gave ELGI security till mid-April 2020. Now why mid-April 2020? Because we all know that India government had also extended, that's called imposed lockdown in March, and it gone beyond April also. So remember that this kind of a strategic purchase on the basis of the strategic thinking, considering the Chinese new festival coming, management did a marvelous thing with respect to accumulating the inventory size, and they could cope up. They could cope up the lockdown phase in India, while Chinese were also companies were closed. But the fact is that when the Chinese opened their factories in February or March, they were able to get the supply. So what is important here to note that even LGI had faced, they were able to get the supply. They were able to produce during the lockdown phase also. But despite all this, they had still faced several challenges from different fronts, and these were number one, component or raw material supply disruptions. It was not only from China, obviously not China, but many other parts from where they procure. Because we remember they procure from more than 15 countries, 350 suppliers. So they had this kind of problem regarding supply side. Then they got a freight disruption. Freight disruption means companies handicapped due to clarity of routes, import guidelines, not able to fulfill delivery commitments, also increase rates of freight on account of fewer freight companies offering solutions. Now this was again freight disruptions. Who will provide you? How it will come to you? Or routes not clear, import guidelines not clear during that time, and that was a big problem for this ELGI to face also. So they had also faced this kind. On top of it, since there were fewer companies to handling freight, and that's why they were imposing higher, they were higher charges also, freight charges, and that's why it was making pretty costly. Third one was which ELGI thought phase was, there's a contract labor shortage. Because of the lockdown, many contract laborers left the production in between. Due to their for their safety, they went home, and whatever left, they had to cope up with the same, and that was a big problem because in this case, factory was not being utilized. Full capacity utilization was not there. It was a truncated capacity utilization. Leftovers labors were being utilized for the production and other things. So rescheduling taking place, all kind of things taking place. Payment terms. ELGI also had a payment. They redrafted the payment terms in terms of small supplies due to lack of liquidity couldn't procure.
Could get started.
Yes, please. Yes, hello. Hello.
Sir, continue.
Okay, please. Is it okay? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. So, ELGI, what it did to facilitate or assuage the feelings of its own, you can say, smaller suppliers regarding the liquidity crunch, I should say, cash flow problem. So, what they happen, these smaller suppliers actually they were not able to procure the raw material to start the production on their own. And they had also there's a problem. There's a smaller supplies because of low lack of liquidity. ELGI had limited impact from supplier side due to minimizing lead time, then high inventory cost. What is happened here? ELGI, ELGI had its own way of coping these things. Number one, they wanted to minimize the lead time. So that they can lead time is they can use their they can save the high inventory cost, and at the same time, since the demand was declining, that led to the less pressure on declining inventory levels also. It means lesser inventory, lesser production, lesser demand. So it means they were in sync with the requirement, or you can say market demand. So in that way, they had less pressure. But COVID forced ELGI to go for the short-term measures and long-term planning at the management level, and that is what it is interesting to note. How this ELGI changed its strategy. Now, this is what is interesting to note here. Number one, safety protocols. As per the Government of India sections, we all know that Government of India had introduced protocols regarding reopening of the factories and productions and other things. So in that way, ELGI also observed the same protocols, and in this case, they also wanted to suppliers to also maintain these kind of protocols, material handling as per the protocol, because sanitization was a priority here. So they had to follow the same protocol. They also maintain inventory of critical items. Now this is important to note. Here they wanted to maintain critical items inventory on a priority basis, and the next was extended payment terms to distributors and sellers to reduce their cash flow. It means the ELGI followed the same policy which I wish to quote here, that Toyota used to do for its own. That is pretty interesting to note. How could Toyota, we all know the Toyota production system, how Toyota used to extend its facilities to its own suppliers, because they see the suppliers as a part of their family. Unfortunately, it is not visible elsewhere. We simply see them as a service provider, but Toyota considers suppliers as a part of their family, and that's why it's a unique relationship which has been identified by the Americans regarding when they were studying about the Toyota production system. So here, ELGI also, I wish to emphasize here, they also to dampen the you can say that's called to mitigate this cash flow, cash crunch. They also extended their distributors and suppliers with respect to extended payment terms. It means giving them more time for payments, giving them more lease of life, and in this way, they help to cash flow pressures. And the next point was revised production process to account for social distancing and owing to lower capacity, focus on most popular and critical products. Again, the new strategy with LGI focus was that is called, since social distancing was a norm that time, workers have to follow the norms in terms of social distancing on the shop floor. So they also follow the same, even if with a lower capacity utilization. And but then what happened? They focus on only critical products, which were very much into the demand. These critical products are very much into demand, and that's why they wanted to cater to the such demands through their production, and they don't want to go for other productions, and that's why they could make the cash flow to the company. And next point is instituted flexibility measures in freight operations, and where required air freight option was opted due to risk in certain routes, but commitments to be fulfilled. This is a very important point. Now, what is this important point is flexibility measure. BLGI had its own flexibility. That is that they were not hardbound, they were not rigid. They took the decision in order to honor the customers. They resorted to the air freight, which we all know it's a pretty costly. But since they want to fulfill that is called customers commitment, and that's why and they want to retain the customer. In this way, they had to they are opted to the air freight option, and that's a very good thing because no one wants to lose its customer, valued customer, and in this case, LGI also did the same. So here they adopted to the flexibility measures. LGI initiated long-term planning. Now, when we say long-term planning, it means they vertically integrate production process for quality control, revising list of critical items, and revising make versus buy decisions with more emphasis on accounting for unforeseen supply chain disruptions. Now, this is where they initiated the long-term planning in their own. This is what other companies should also do to face any unforeseen eventuality in future. So here they again to talk about the by category parts, that's a plan to pursue multiple sources across the regions to mitigate risk. This is a very important. From one single geography to they wanted to diversify the sourcing across the regions so that they shouldn't face any problem. And they want to bring down the risk also. If one fails to supply, at least there is other one to supply you, or other. So they got a opportunity. They got options to get supplies, uninterrupted supplies. Then there was the workforce. Regarding workforce, this time they talked about multi-skilling the workforce to ensure production during reduced manpower situations. It means a worker should not only confine to only one task, rather he should be multitasking. He should be able to do more. Now, multi-skilling is what it means. When you got a truncated production, when you got a less workforce available, at least multi-skilled workers will be able to deliver. It means they can be able to do more than one task at a time, and that is called multi-skilling. And in this case, they will be trained. They will be thoroughly trained to such kind of task, and that is what is important right now. So it means more and more technology orientation will be there. They'll be exposed to more and more new machines, more technologies, and that is very important in terms of cost cutting also. And finally, revising freight contracts. Now, revising freight contracts means to ensure price and service protected under all conditions, along with multiple ports of access. Now, freight is the one we all know. It's when we talk about the transportation costs, when we talk about the shipping or transshipment. This time to have a fair price and service, seamless supply of the services under all conditions, they wanted to have multi-port access. It means not only confined to the one port or other one, you can have at least other port access through which you can get your supplies. So this can give you uninterrupted supply of raw material or inventory, whatever. So in this is also revising freight context. They did it. Now, as per the final outcome, when I say COVID-19 has a permanently challenged supply chain assumptions of ELGI. Why ELGI? It has almost challenged every company's assumptions. Those who thought they are having a seamless supply, now they are also into the problem. Second thing is proactive measures. Now ELGI resorted to proactive measures to ensure business continuity while ensuring stakeholder safety. So it means others also supposed to go for such kind of proactive measures. It's the time not to go for reactive mode, rather it's the time to go for proactive mode. I always consider such kind of things as a blessing in disguise. Any such kind of risk is always an eye-opener. Companies should look to the new opportunities, be innovative in their approach. They should always look for new and newer strategies so that then only they can become more competitive. Why we study supply chain? It is all because we want to be competitive in the global market. And supply chain is the one where most of the top-notch companies like a Walmart or this Toyota operation system, or you can say they all have their supply chain. They Amazon, what do you name, and they are there. It means whoever is having a excellent supply chain model, they can thrive in this world. They are the ones, those who are going to have a cost-effective measures, those who are going to thrive over others. So supply chain gives us competitiveness, cost competitiveness. Supply gives us opportunities, and then only we can be master in the global world. Otherwise we don't have any future. We should look for more and more technology dependency. We should look for harnessing new technologies. I was attending one seminar of SHM, and there was again a new model which was being discussed that time, that was called creation of the local commerce, where a platform will be created to integrate different industry present in the same region, and this is called local commerce model. There was a one presentation which was talking about the barcode and creation, and then you can have all details with the new technology across the different products. So what I mean to say, harnessing new technologies is a new you can say mantra today, so that we can have a endless supply chain. We can have an undisrupted supply chain. With this word, I hope I wish to stop here. Now the floor is open for the discussion, and with this, thank you everybody. Sir, thank you very much. Now I'm open for the discussion. Please.
Yes, it's truly. Sir, just stop sharing so that everyone can come on the video and mic open.
Acha, okay, stop sharing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this all our respected academician from India, from Egypt, from Libya, from Ethiopia, and so many other countries. You all are a grand welcome on this 4th day of the Aicte sponsored short-term training program, part 2. Then Professor Shailendra Dube is taking a touch of our heart, like Mumbai Dabbawala. Even then now, a time during COVID, they also be a sufferer because of very low opportunity for them. Then he took the example of this Wuhan case study, then number of case study he shared with us, then what are the solution, finding, conclusion, and everything. I mentioned in the chat box also, then you all are welcome to share your views during and share your experiences also. During COVID, how you get your supply, because supply chain management is started from home. From supply chain of the bread and butter in the morning, milk in the morning, vegetable and the grocery, and many more need. Even in the special, when we talk about the medicines, it requires much more. So I request to each and everyone that you are most welcome. And here I am able to see our Manjri Sagalji is with us. So once anyone want to come, open their mic and video, share their views to make it more interactive session, because you all are also a learned faculty member. So we also listen from you. open a video and for group photo also. So nice of you. Anyone, most welcome. Whosoever. John Valuri. Most welcome, Mr. John.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. How are you, sir? You are from?
Sir, you're talking to me, sir?
Yeah. Mr. John
I'm
Valuri.
from Bangalore, sir. CMS Business School.
Wow, that's right. Good to hear you, Professor. Yeah, please share your views about this case study and your personal experience.
Yes.
Yeah, most of it moved to online purchases and then try to minimize crowds and maintaining social distancing. All of this was, of course, very much become a second nature now. And one question to Dr. Shailendra Kumar is how did the Dabbawala people cope up after pandemic, sir? Any?
Sir, that is very interesting question which you have asked. Because during the pandemic, it was a Dabbawala supply. Actually, services sector was very much affected. Now,
Yes.
when we say the entire trains and all, these were all stopped, these were all closed. Government has imposed restrictions on the movement of the people, and obviously organizations were also closed. So we cannot anticipate any such kind of activity. Since I'm not from Mumbai right now, so I cannot say that this is where it is happening. But since the regulated opening of the trains are not started, but still I am doubtful whether the organizations are opening or not, or functioning or not there. So Dabbawala, unfortunately, there where there was no holidays or less limited holidays, first time they have also faced the brunt of COVID pandemic, and probably that has affected their livelihood also. Otherwise, they were the classic example where there was no rest. They were those who are serving the mankind in Mumbai, especially. So, sir, this is the one example where services sector, not only India, abroad, elsewhere also affected, and pandemic had left nobody. It has affected most of the sectors, all sectors, and we all have witnessed also how this has affected the entire services sector. See the tourism, see the hospitality, see this you can say other sectors where we used to. In fact, India is basically dependent on the services sector for exports also. Now they all have come to a grind halt. So what I mean to say in this way, the gradual controlled opening of this system in the country will lead to flourishing of once again services sector. So whatever you talk about, there's a Mumbai Dabbawala, I am still doubtful because social distancing is a norm. Supply side is also how people will observe all this. So this is a big question mark. So and they depend on the government resources. They heavily depend on the government resources, and that's why it is still a time to wait and watch policy. I hope so. Yes, sir. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, anyone else? It's an open platform for each and everyone. You are not a guest, you are our host. Welcome everyone. Yeah. Pradeep ji, Rajkumar Singh ji, Rajat Bhattacharya, Rajesh Kumar Sharma, Rakesh Debroy. I able to read Ravindra RM. Yes, Dr. Tripti Dandekar. Yeah, please share, Dr. Tripti,
Yes.
your personal experience about supply chain or about you would like to ask anything else.
No, actually, it was very nice session, and I liked the way this supply chain management and how it is related to Dabbawala. I am from Pune. I am a Maharashtrian person, so I know that whole concept and how they work and tirelessly they behave. But I should say, definitely the way they did the work and they have actually created a name for country. It's the people who are not educated, the people who are not having any management education, but they are having Six Sigma in their work. So that was something which we need to learn from all of, like all of us need to learn from them. If someone is doing their work with honesty and 100% dedication, they can attain Six Sigma, whether they learn management or not. That's how it is.
Right, right.
And I should appreciate the way today's session happened, and the way this case study was discussed and related with supply chain management. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yes, Sarita Rathi, Richa Bajpayee, Sanjeev Singh, then Rakesh TSG, Kapil Tyagi ji. And I request that we want to take a group photograph. So, yeah, Rakesh ji, would you like to share something? Yeah, Dr. R. Sivakumar. Dr. Rakesh. Yeah, Dr. Rakesh. Yeah, Dr. R. Sivakumar, how are you? Yeah, welcome, Dr. R. Sivakumar. Share your views. Yeah, audible, bit louder. Dr. R. Sivakumar.
Okay.
Yes, Dr. John, please mute your mic, please. Yes, Dr. R. Sivakumar. Yeah, Dr. Rakesh, are you ready? Then you can speak. Dr. Tia Jaban, how are you, Tia Jaman? And Chinja, Mr. Vanalavani Chinja, Ms. Veena Anand, anyone, Rita Starbhaskar, Richa Bajpayee. Yeah. Yeah, Sanjeev ji. Good afternoon, Sanjeev ji.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Sir, just share your views. I love. Yes, good to see you, sir.
I am professor at Aicte Group of Institution.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to all of you.
So nice of you,
Actually,
sir.
Good morning.
Today the coding method by Dabbawalas, the way sir has explained, actually the way he has, we all know that coding is there, but the way he has explained, the example he has taken, it was so nice, and the way people are seeing the things. Sir, I congratulate to MIT Group of Institutions that they had arranged this FT. Priyanka ma'am that they had taken too much pain all the time there, because online presentation is, I think it is much harder, or it may pressurize the faculty also to organize the things, because there are too much technical problems, too much technical glitches are there. But still, the way you had enhanced the things, sir, I congratulate to your group, and I will pass this message to my college also, because the things, there are no technical problem as I was expecting. Some problem is also there, always there, because still India is developing for internet connectivity. But the way you had arranged, sir, I must congratulate to you, and I am very much satisfied. Only first day we got some problem with the technical problem. Otherwise, it is flawless FDP.
So nice of
Thank
you.
you
So
to you.
nice of you, sir. Thank you so much, Sanjeev ji. Yes, I wish to invite anyone, because this is the open platform for each and everyone. Rakesh ji, I think now you can say something. Rakesh TSG. Yeah, hi. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. It was a good session. We had read about Dabbawala through article and all, even newspaper and other means of communication. We had information about them, but this is a technical analysis. Actually, they had done. They had given they analyzed actually the situation with the COVID background, and he had given enough information about how this Dabawala is really facing the situation and how they are overcoming the situation. And this is really one of the good analysis I can say. We have a course here, a course called Supply Chain Management, Retail Supply Chain Management. We have one course here, degree course. I thought of after listening to this, I would have shared this link to my students. Even this was a case study for them.
Yes, yes.
Unfortunately, I didn't know. If I had known this in advance, I would have shared this link to my students also. This was a wonderful experience for them also.
Don't worry, you can share the
send me the links,
recording. You can share the recording of this link. We can
Yeah,
share it. Yeah.
I can share that to my students.
Or you can invite Dr. Shailendra Dube
It will be
there.
like a case study for them.
Yeah. So you are
Yeah,
from?
sure, sir. I will try to contact him.
Yeah,
I'm from Karnataka, sir. Bangalore.
So nice. So nice of you. So you can connect to me, then I connect to Dr. Shailendra Dube. Then we will request him to again. He can spare his time because he's busy in so many other ministerial affairs also. Yeah, anyone other? Isha Bajpayee ji, Kapil Tyagi, Sarita Rathi. I'm able to see some of the name. Dr. Jaya Shankar Prasad, Dr. Nanda Al Hakak. Dr. Nanda Al Hakak, yeah, Dr. Jaya Shankar Prasad, most welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sir,
A wonderful session delivered by Shailendra Kumar Dube, sir, in spite of his busy schedule.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, your experience during COVID to get your supply of the daily food?
In Andhra Pradesh, everywhere it is same, sir. The pandemic has affected all parts of the whole India, and Andhra Pradesh is not excluded. It is not exception from that. So everyone, is being affected by that one. But anyway, the resilience and agility which has been shown by the organizations survived, by and large during this time.
Yes, yes. That's nice. That's nice. Mr. Shokrat Shehror, anyone wish to share their views on supply chain management, their personal views? They are most welcome. Dr. Sanjeev Ghimre. Mr. Ghimre, I think you're from Nepal. Dr. Sanjeev Ghimre.
No, sir, no, not from Nepal, from Assam.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Because I saw the Ghimre surname from Nepal also. How are you, Mr. Sanjeev?
I am fine.
What's your views about your personal experience? Share. Yeah.
Sir, the situation is same here also in Assam also. We found many difficulties regarding the daily supply of commodities, and most of the our consumption FMCG goods came from other parts of the country, and we were denied of many necessary items regarding onions, potatoes, their daily requirements, and since they are supplied from through West Bengal or from other parts of India, but now the situation is gradually adjusting. We are now the raw materials are quite available. Raw material and other materials are quite available, and that's my opinion, sir.
Okay, that's right. That's nice. Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else to want to share his or her views? Mr. Medant Khalil, Dr. Parvez Alam, Pradeep Pandey ji, Rakesh Debroy, Rohit, Sandeep Kapoor ji, Sapna Malik. Everyone is welcome. Anyone can share their views about supply chain management, or can share their personal experience, can add their valuable views in it. Veena Anand. Mr. Brooke McNaughton. Mr. Anand Mohan, Ms. Preeti Singh from AITM, Rita Esther Bhaskar. So I wish to, anyone want to share? Open the mic and videos. No, yeah. Now we have a 6 minute with us. So then with all your permission, I wish to convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Shailendra Kumar Dube ji for
Thank you, sir.
sharing his views on supply chain management. And officially, there is two era, pre-COVID and post-COVID. He taken the both of, even during COVID. So how the companies are managed, it's all then working capital. There's a sometime we were doing so many research. There is a zero inventory. We make the case study of the Levi's jeans and Arvind denim and the showrooms of all showrooms. We work from last 10 year, from 2010 to 2020 January. We work on the zero inventory. But now we start to rechange our mind. We start to think new. There is no zero inventory, as our parents and others said, nothing is free and nothing is zero in this world. We need to at least added or prefix 1, 2, 3, 4, take some number. So zero cannot give us a valuable things. Yeah, Preeti Singh ji, thank you so much for your valuable message in chat box, but we wish that you share your views, come on the video or mic. It is highly appreciable for everyone. Otherwise, we are going to end this day with the closing remark of Shailendra ji. So Shailendra ji, over to you. Just give your closing remark, and before closing remark, I convey my thanks in advance to you.
Thank you, Deva Arora sir, Dr. Arora sir. It was a nice opportunity for me to put up my views, my presentation to the distinguished audience today present in the Sttp. I always believe in one thing during my teachings also, that is called applied or application part. Theoreticals are very much there, I tell you. I always believe that anything should be, given to the participants, to the students, they can assimilate. Because if you go to the nitty-gritties of any model, anything, then it becomes, less interesting. So that's why I deliberately put today a very practical shot of information, so that we can look forward, we can see. Today the basic challenge is, if I am asked to say so, that is called how to manage the supply of vaccine in the country.
Yes. Again.
That is the one. On the one hand, you've got a Pfizer with a minus 70 degree cold supply chain. Can you manage this?
Yeah.
On the other hand, you have got the other vaccines which require normal temperature to be maintained during the supply chain. So, sir, that is the one thing which is a practical problem for all of us to understand how to stock it, how to supply, how to deliver, how to maintain stock, and how to execute. So that is the biggest problem. This is biggest challenge for the country also. We are a mega size, subcontinent size country, where 130 billion people, and presuming that 30% population to be inoculated with vaccine, so that others will be saved. But can we maintain, considering the geography, topography of this country? Right now, I'm in Almora, Uttarakhand, and I'm facing the temperature 0 degree or minus 1 degree in my Almora. Remember, sir. On the other end, you got Tamil Nadu or other places where the temperature is pretty good. Yesterday, I was talking to Mumbai, and then I was talking that very good temperature there. So, sir, that is the kind of variation.
Yeah.
But then, considering the country's topography, geography, ensuring supply chain regarding the vaccines to this country is a biggest challenge, sir. Now, I wish that there should be some good work to be done, so that we all of us should be benefited because of the good supply chain of the vaccine in this country in coming months or days ahead. Like in case of the USA, which they are maintaining minus 70 degree. So, right, sir, we have to have a wherewithal, we have to have an infrastructure, we have to have all kind of skills required to maintain, handle all this. Right, sir? All of us are listening in the news. So that's why this is my presumption that is the biggest challenge today. Forget about the manufacturers asking. We are the producer now.
Yeah.
India is going to emerge as one of the largest producer of this, you can say, pharmaceuticals, vaccines in coming days and months and years. That is what we are going to become, and supply chain will play a very vital role in this regard. With these words, I say thanks to all of you, all the participants, and especially thanks to Dr. Arora sir. You always thanks to you for giving me this opportunity, and all the distinguished faculty members, those who are present. I wish they will certainly help me in improving my knowledge as well. With these words, thanks a lot, sir. Thanks everybody for showing interest in my presentation.
So nice
Thank you,
of you.
sir.
Thank you so much. My last sentence is recipe is always seems a very good and pretty on YouTube channel, but we need a very effective ingredients, process and resources. So
Right.
recipe must match with the resources, then we can give the effective product. So thank you very much, all academicians from worldwide. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks everybody.
Anything
Sir,
want to add, Vaishali, Priyanka? Would you like to add anything about
No,
feedback
sir.
form and all?
The feedback form link I have uploaded in the chat box, and
Okay.
I am receiving feedback, so there's no issue with the feedback link. Kindly fill the feedback for both the sessions today. We had 2 different feedback links, and that is all for now. Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow morning.
All right. Thank you so much.
thank you, sir. Okay, with your permission, I'm leaving now. Bye, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. All right. So kindly give me permission to leave now. Thank you so much, everyone.